Hey guys, my name's Paige Pierce. I'm doing a 2019 version of it in the bag. I thought I would start out with the putters because they are the most important disc in your bag, as they're the only disc you use on every single hole. I've chosen the Prime Burst Deputy. These have my Disc Golf Through Croatia stamp on it. I love the green look, but other than that, the way they fly, honestly, the Deputy is the best putter I've ever laid my hands on, and this plastic, I just love the feel of it. So when I grab my Deputy, I know it's gonna go exactly where I want it to go and where I release it. So this lets me know that I messed up as opposed to the disc messing up. It's very, very straight and very glidey, so it's perfect if you're a spin putter that likes to just aim right at the chains and have no variation. Next up on the important list is an Upshot disc. I actually have two main Upshot discs. My first one is the Understable Upshot disc, which is also a Deputy, but this is one that I throw instead of putt with. I like to have a different one in my bag just in case I'm hitting trees with it. I don't want my putters to just change stabilities all the time, so I always have one extra in my bag that I throw. Other throwing putter is the Classic Blend Marshall. This disc saves me so many strokes coming down the stretch. Really on almost every hole, if I have an approach, I'm throwing the Classic Blend Marshall. It's very dependable. You throw it flat and hard and it goes straight, and at the end it hyzers out a little bit. It doesn't flip over like the Deputy does, but if you need a little bit of a stability on the finish, this is what I would choose. Right in between those two discs is the Moonshine Deputy. I throw this one occasionally, but it's not a super staple in my bag. If I'm in between stability choices on the Prime Deputy and the Marshall, I'll choose this one. It glides just a little bit farther than the Marshall. It doesn't want to find the ground as quickly, but it's a little bit step up in stability compared to the Prime one. After that, I have the Fusion Suspect. This is a pretty famous disc for my bag. I guess it's my Tina Dimaxed one. I found this photo on her MySpace and put it on a disc because I thought it was amazing. Anyway, you guys aren't here to learn about my stamps, you're here to learn about the discs. So the reason I throw this one is I can put it on 90 to 95% power, nice and flat, and it'll fly very straight, and at the end it'll get a little bit of a finish. It flies very straight for me, and I know where it's gonna land. If I want a little bit more of an overstable finish, I'll go with the Lucid X Verdict. This is one of the newer discs to my bag, actually. Occasionally, if there's too much of a headwind or if I error in my wrist on the Suspect, it'll flip. So I've chosen the Lucid X Verdict for a slightly more overstable version of that same shot. So like I said, for that one, nice and hard and flat, and let it hyzer off to the left on its own at the end of the flight. For my straighter mids, I have two choices right now. The first one is the Peter McBride Moonshine Truth. I started throwing this late last year when it came out, and I fell in love instantly. It's a little bit more overstable than the stock Emax. Since it's Moonshine, it has a little bit more stability and holds a little bit more power, but it's pretty much my go-to if I need a straight to slightly turning understable mid-range. Now, this is the newest disc to my bag, the Gatekeeper. It's very similar to this Moonshine Emax Truth, but instead of straight to understable, it's straight to overstable. So if I rip this one nice and hard, I know that it's gonna go straight for a lot of the flight and then hyzer a tiny bit at the end. It reminds me a lot of the Marshall, but in a mid-range form. Next up are the Fairway Drivers. This is my favorite part of the game, actually. I really love to throw like flip-up shots that penetrate forward and kind of hyzer back. And that's why I think my favorite disc is the Convict. I throw it right now in two different plastics, Lucid and Lucid X. That's why I put my name on them. They're my favorite discs to throw, and I absolutely love watching them fly down the fairway. This pink one that you'll see me throwing a lot is my really beat-in one. I'll throw it really hard on a hyzer, severe hyzer angle, and it'll flip up to flat and penetrate forward. And this green one is a new one for the bag for this year. It is a little bit more overstable. So if I pop it like this, it'll flip up to flat and fly flat for a while and then hyzer out. So those two cover me as far as the 3 to 360 foot range. If I want it to go straight, left, or right, those cover my needs. Next up on the Fairway Drivers is the Felon. Eric Oakley loves this disc. He actually gave me this one, and then I put Kobe's stamp on it. So this disc has been very well loved and used. I think it might be my most used disc in my bag, actually. It's very, very, very dependable. I can pop it out really wide and I know how much it's gonna hyzer in. If you ever need an overstable fairway driver in the wind, in the calm, anything, this Felon is going to be what you want. Last fairway driver is the Thief. This only comes in my bag on occasion. I have a primary lineup, but this is in the secondary lineup, but it will absolutely be in my bag here at the Memorial. Anytime I need a roller, the Thief is my absolute go-to. You don't really have to try to roll it. You just kind of put it down on an angle and it does all the work for you. All you have to do is make sure it hits the ground on an angle and it rolls. So I think it's a really good disc to learn rollers with, and even after you've learned them, it's just really easy to repeat that shot that you've thrown. Now we're to the drivers. I have quite a few drivers in my bag, but a lot of these are just different beat-in levels. I only have 2 molds of drivers in my bag, the Biofusion Defender and the Ballista Pro. First up is the Biofusion Defender. I actually have 4 in my bag at this current moment. Sometimes this changes, but I always have a flippy one. What I consider to be flippy is something similar to the flight of a Convict, where I can throw it hard on a slight hyzer and it'll flip up to flat and ride forward. I don't want a Bio Defender to ever flip, but I want one that is nice and broken so that it'll go flat, and this one is the one I throw for that purpose. My next one, instability wise, is this one. You've probably seen this one in my bag before. It was also in my last in the bag, but it's such a good one that I've kept it in the bag for 2019. This one is beat in, but it still has that stability at the end of the flight. I throw this one a lot for sidearms. It has a nice deep rim right here, so I can get my fingers under it nice and comfortably. And like I said, it has that stable finish, so it's really good for the amount of torque you put on a sidearm. This green one right here is, I call it my old trusty. This one has been in my bag since the first time I went in the factory with Eric McCabe and I got on the team. We found this stack of Turquoise Defenders, my favorite color, and the nice domey feel to it makes it really glidey and very dependable. And anytime I'm having like a moment of, mistrust in any disc, I grab this one and I know I'm gonna find the fairway. My newest Defender in the bag, I always try to have one that's pretty brand new for good like headwind shots or just the stable finish without a doubt. There's a lot of holes out here at the Memorial where there's OB on the right, so I want to make sure I have a nice overstable disc in my bag so that I can throw it at the right side of the fairway and let it hyzer in. And that is this one. What I'm looking for in a nice overstable Defender is it to be really domey and pop top. So this gives it a lot of glide, and you also know that it's going to finish left. So if you guys are looking for a nice overstable Defender, look for a stiffer one that has some dome to it. The last mold in my bag is the Ballista Pro. I absolutely love this disc. I put my name on the Biofusion Defender because it was the best driver I ever threw, and I didn't think I would ever need another one, really. But I grabbed the Ballista Pro when it came out late last year, and it added probably 40 feet to the Defender lines that I was throwing. It throws very similar to the Defender. It's not quite as trustworthy, but it goes farther. So if you don't have wind and you want to push that distance boundary, grab the Ballista Pro. Again, I like the overstability that you find in the stiff domey ones. I think that's a really good quality to look for in a driver. So I have both of these. This one has been in my bag since they first came out. and it's kind of beat in, so I can get a little bit of a flip up with it. If I throw it really hard like this, it'll flip up and ride to the right a little bit, but it'll still hyzer back at the end. And this one that I just put in about a month ago, it will not flip quite as much. It'll just go pretty flat to hyzer finish at the end. Occasionally I do have a gold line Ballista Pro in there as well. This morning I lost one, so I'm gonna be putting that back in. But if you guys see me throwing one of these, but it's not as translucent, it's a gold line Ballista Pro. And other than that, I just got my hands on the Raider today. I haven't thrown it yet, but just judging by the feel, feels a lot like the Defenders, so I can't wait to go out and check it out. Anthony's letting me use his, so we'll go see if I might take it from him. So thank you guys so much for watching. That is my 2019 in the bag. If any discs come in or out, I'll try to make sure to keep you updated and let you know what's coming in my bag.